to welcome you to the 24th annual Volunteer Recognition Breakfast. Anybody been here all 24 years? There's probably some in the room that are pretty close. I know that there's some that have been coming for a long time and have talked to us about prior events and that kind of thing. So thank you for being here this morning. We appreciate your time, and we certainly appreciate all that you do as a volunteer in the community. Without all of the time and commitment that you give, our community would be a much different place. So thank you so much for everything that you do to make the greater Wisconsin Rapids area a better place. In the program today, you can see that we have a lot of great activities, a lot of fun things coming up. I do need to just share my regrets with you. I do have to leave this morning. I can't stay for the whole program, but you do have a great keynote speaker this morning in Shelley Kaiser, and we've enlisted Mayor Verwink to help out with some of the things that maybe I would normally be doing. So we'll put him to work this morning. United Way is in the process of making our funding allocations for 2016, and so that happens today, tomorrow, and Thursday. We have 3 full days of agencies coming and seeking funding from the United Way to help make sure that their programs happen in 2016. And so that's where some of us from the staff need to be this morning as well. So with that, we will move forward with the program. I hope that you've enjoyed breakfast. Continue to eat as we work through the program. And we also hope that you're inspired today. There are certainly a lot of great networking opportunities at your table, but there's also opportunities to volunteer. And Angie has put on each table, there are some volunteer opportunities. They're in a little clip. You can see they're kind of fanned. The print might be a little small for you to be able to read. You'll need your magnifiers or your readers. But if you'd like to take one of those, if there's something there that interests you, and then you can contact the Volunteer Center to know about these other additional opportunities that are available right now in the community for you to help with. So we always start this event with recognizing all of the different agencies that are in the room, and there's a lot of them. And so we've tried standing and sitting in all different ways, but it seems like the most successful is if you just kind of wave your arm in the air, give a hand, when the agency or agencies that you volunteer for get called out. So what we're trying to do here is just give you an idea of everyone that's in the room and certainly recognize all of the different organizations that are present today. So it's a long list. It's about 2 pages long. So when your agency is called, if you would wave your hand, we'll hold our applause till the end, till they've all been listed. So we have the ACT Playground, Adams Friendship High School, Aging and Disability Resource Center. Anybody? I don't know if I've seen any arms go up yet. Alpine Assisted Living, Arborwood Assisted Living, Assumption High School. Angie, is this the right list? Backpacks for Kids. There we go. Buds and Sprouts Program. Catholic Charities Acorn Apartments. Central Wisconsin Literacy Council. Head Start Bookworms. Hilltop Affiliates. Home Delivered Meals. Howe Elementary School. John Edwards High School Ecology Club. Junior Achievement. Learning for Life Reading Mentor Program. Lincoln High School Key Club. Lincoln High School Tutoring Program. Mead Elementary Charter School. Mid-State Technical College. Ministry Home Care Hospice. Well, there we go. Everybody's here from the same agency. We got lots of hands on that one. North Central Community Action Program. Opportunity Development Center. Our Lady Queen of Heaven. Performing Arts Center. Pittsville Fire Department. River Cities Community Access Media. Riverview Hospital Association. The Rome Makers HCE. Southwood County Historical Museum. Southwood County Homelessness Coalition. Southwood County Humane Society. Southwood County YMCA. Strawberry Lane Medical and Rehabilitation Center, the Family Center, the Neighborhood Table, Think Academy, United Way of Inner Wisconsin, Villa Pines, Wisconsin Rapids Area Retired Educators Association, Wisconsin Rapids Beautification Committee, Wisconsin Rapids Community Theater, Wisconsin Rapids Habitat for Humanity, Wisconsin Rapids Lioness Club, Wisconsin Rapids Nursing and Rehabilitation Center, Wisconsin Rapids Optimist Club, Wood County 4-H, Wood County Land Conservation Department, and Wood County Master Gardeners. That's a lot. How about a big round of applause for all of our volunteers? Now, before I turn the microphone over to Mayor Verwink, I just want to talk to you, give you a few statistics that we have gathered. We have Angie Laux, who should be recognized over here as our Volunteer Center Coordinator, and you'll be hearing from her shortly. But Angie gathers a lot of statistics around volunteer hours. And so when we recorded the information from 2014, we had a little over 183,000 hours in Southwood County and over 17,000 in Adams County for a grand total of 199,072.75 hours. And so what's really cool about that is the Hands-On Network tells us that the value of a volunteer is approximately $22, so $22.14 an hour. So when you do the math, anybody real quick on their math? The value of those volunteer hours in 2014 was $4,407,474 that impacted our communities. So thank you for all of the time that you give. This is a huge impact. These statistics are used through the Hands-On Network for us locally. Encourage uses those statistics in their vital signs report each year. And so it is important that we track and get the information, get those hours. So if you aren't tracking volunteer hours, we'd be happy to receive that information from you and encourage you to do so that we can be looking collectively as a community how we're making an impact through volunteerism. So thank you very much for everything that you do. We appreciate you being here this morning, and now I'd like to invite forward Mayor Verwink.
Good morning. Welcome everybody to the breakfast. This is always one of the highlights of my year, I would say, because in many ways what makes a really healthy community, and in January I spoke of the aspects of a healthy community, and all of which are connected, but one of which is most important is resident engagement, like all of you who are participating in many ways to make this community strong. And I can say in ways you may know or may not see that by way of resident participation and involvement, our community is healthier and grows healthier every year because of what you just saw on the screen, the amount of dollars that are invested by way of your time into this community. So thank you. On behalf of the City of Wisconsin Rapids, I, Mayor Zachary J. Verwink, proclaim April 12th to April 18, 2015 as National Volunteer Week here in Inner Wisconsin. I urge my fellow citizens to join the volunteer effort in our communities by volunteering and recognizing those who serve. Volunteering promotes fellowship and unity and increases community awareness. Please join us during National Volunteer Week to make a difference in the lives of others. Thank you.
Mayor Verwink. Can you hear me back there? Am I loud enough? Okay, good, super. Well, this is an exciting week at the Volunteer Center, and we certainly have an eventful year. In 2014, we saw a total of 569 referrals, which is slightly up from last year. The most popular needs that were posted to our website, volunteerinnerwisc.org, were number 3, the Volunteer Center's Disaster Volunteer Reception Center. Number 2, the American Red Cross Disaster Responder. And number 1, Rapids Family Backpacks donation request for non-perishable food. I also have a few other highlights to share from you from 2014. The Volunteer Center assisted the homeless point in time count in January and July. This is where volunteers count the number of homeless individuals living on the street during the last Wednesday of January and July, from 1 p.m. to 3 a.m. Homeless individuals are surveyed, and the information is used by North Central Community Action Program to better serve our local homeless population. The Volunteer Center held 2 Disaster Volunteer Reception Center, or VRC, trainings last year in May and November, and another training just this last March, which received 10 new volunteers for our VRC team. A VRC is activated by Wood County Emergency Management after a disaster to field spontaneous volunteers who self-mobilize after a disaster. At the VRC, spontaneous volunteers fill out an application. They are screened, interviewed, matched with a volunteer opportunity column, trained, given a wristband, and sent back out to a disaster scene. The VRC makes volunteering at a disaster safer and more organized. In 2014, 295 volunteers raked 70 yards during Day of Caring in October. The event makes it possible for our local elderly and disabled individuals to remain in their homes longer. Last year, our Volunteer Coordinators of Inner Wisconsin, or VCIW group, met 3 times in January, April, and October. This year, we already met twice in January and March and plan to meet again in September. VCIW is available to any and all organizations that have a volunteer program. We gather to discuss issues that volunteer coordinators face, such as recruitment and retention, how to work with a board of directors, how to work with different generations of volunteers, etc. We don't just lead the meetings. It is a conversation where all participants can share their best practices and materials that work well for them and learn from each other. If you manage volunteers, either formally or informally, you are invited to join us. For more information, simply fill out the email cards located on your table and we will get in contact with you. The email cards are the purple cards on your table. And I should also point out that later in the program, we do have some goodie bags to give away, so we will be collecting those purple cards if you want to be in for the drawing. So just wanted to throw that out real quick too. Finally, I have an exciting announcement to make about next year's volunteer breakfast. Don't worry, the event itself will not be changing, but for as long as I can remember, the volunteer breakfast has been held during National Volunteer Week. Next year, we plan to hold the event a couple weeks early, prior to National Volunteer Week, and really focus on promoting volunteerism and planning volunteer projects during National Volunteer Week. We hope you'll like our changes next year. I know I'm excited. And now it is time to present our keynote speaker, Shelly Kaiser. She is here today to talk about all the things you do from A to Z. Shelly serves as Administrator of Volunteer Wisconsin, a statewide resource for volunteer advocacy, recruitment, and training, and coordinates the Volunteer Wisconsin AmeriCorps program at Marshfield Clinic. Shelly has 6 years' experience as Marathon County's Volunteer Center Director. She also spent over 10 years as a business teacher and substitute teacher. Shelly holds degrees from Northern State University and UW Eau Claire. Outside her roles, Shelly actively volunteers at a homeless shelter and within her parish. Please help me in welcoming Shelly Kaiser.
Well, good morning. I think I'm going to just hold this, because then I get to feel like a rock star. Well, thank you, Angie, for inviting me to come here today. And it's with real pleasure, as a volunteer myself, as a volunteer coordinator, although I live just off Marathon County, just off a little bit from the Wood County line, but familiar with your community. And I'm just so tickled that Angie asked me to come. If I had a hat on today, I would tip it off to you and extend to you a very heartfelt thank you. Not just from me, not just from Angie, not from the people who may have nominated you that brought you here today, but from your neighbors, your friends, and from your community. Because you see, the work that you do as a volunteer, although not paid, has enormous value. Because without your generous spirit, the ways that you volunteer are the very things that would otherwise not get done in our communities. There just aren't sufficient resources, time or money, whether it's at the city level, county, state, federal level. What did Tara say? Was it $4 million, the total value? I mean, could you imagine that? How many would like to be paid $22 an hour? Sign me up, all right? I want that volunteer opportunity. But that is a value if we take the average value of an employer in Wisconsin and we roll in those wages and benefits and average that out. That's where that number comes from. It's a real number. Of course, it's a real number. Well, sometimes when I want to evaluate whether or not something is worth doing, I'll ask myself, who would miss me or the project if I didn't do it? What wouldn't get done? So let's just pause for a minute and let's imagine a very different Wisconsin Rapids community, or Wood or Adams County, depending where you're from. Communities where there were no volunteers. Who would miss you? What would no longer get done, and how would that affect your community? How many of the nonprofits, schools, or government agencies where you volunteer would cease to be able to even offer services? How many homes would Habitat be able to build without volunteers? How many children would Big Brothers Big Sisters be able to mentor without you? It's clear to see volunteers, and that's all of you that I'm talking about, you really do change the world. Whatever causes your passion, you are providing a valuable service in your community. And I want to thank you for making all of our lives richer by your service. So, have you heard of the Helper High? So we pumped you up, the mayor's pumped you up, Tara's pumped you up, Angie, I'm doing my best here. 70% of volunteers report that they feel a calmness or a sense of warmth or maybe a strong feeling as the result of helping others. We call that a Helper High. It's kind of surprising when you think that sometimes you're getting involved with people in great need. And so you would think that would cause greater headaches in your life and not cure them. But as volunteers, you know that's not the case. Because one thing we know as volunteers is we get to rub shoulders and work with a lot of really caring people. And in that respect, we get to see a lot of what's good and right in our communities. And that gives us hope. So I've been asked to keep this rather brief and try to do something interactive. So I've got kind of a crafty side to me, and so I'm going to share that with you, hopefully in an activity that will involve more participation than I saw with the hands up, because there are a lot of you who weren't waving your arms earlier. So over here on this table, the last couple of weekends, I just created, I love Pinterest, and I just created some appreciation tokens. This is a Mountain Dew at the Mounds bar. It says, "Mounds of thanks for all you do." You kind of get the gist. So we've got some candy, we've got some gum, we've got some soap, we've got some Marshall Clinic lip balm chips, and goodies. And so what I'm going to do in my presentation here is I looked at the script that Angie put together and the variety of agencies that are represented and the things that you are doing, and it's incredible. So we're going to just quickly review some of the highlights of activities that are being done right here in your community, and I want you to grab the pen that was put at your spot, and somewhere on the bottom of your program, whether you are a volunteer or you're someone who nominated a volunteer, you're probably volunteering. Remember neighbor to neighbor volunteering? That counts too. I want you to just make a little tick mark. As I go through, I just selected some things. This list could be exhaustive, but we're going to start with A. And when I mention something that you are doing, I want you to just put a little tick mark, a little line at the bottom of your program. And when you make your third tick mark, woohoo, it's like Price is Right. You gotta run up to the stage. But you don't. I'm just gonna keep going, and we're just gonna keep moving, and you just come over here and you pick one of these items and you take it back to your seat. And keep tallying all the amazing things you're doing, all right? And we have a grand prize for the person who has the most. And again, this might not be the person who volunteers the most, it's just they have the most of what I have represented here today. All right, any questions? All right, so take that napkin, put it on the table because you're gonna be running up here pretty soon. Let's see how quickly. I think I have 80 to 90 things up here, and I think that'll cover most of you because I know there's gonna be a few that are not getting out of their chair. Let's see how far into the alphabet we get before all of the prizes are given away. Okay, let's start with A. Advocacy. This could be support for those who don't have a voice, support for the abused, assessment of community needs. A lot of you were involved in that point in time count. That was involving assessments of community needs. Arts and culture volunteers, animal protection or animal services. Okay, just 4 simple ways using the letter A that you may volunteer. Now, it's potentially, we could have our first, woohoo! All right, come on up, grab the prize, back to your seat. Letter B. I know some of you do beautification, maybe at schools, parks, cities. Building and construction, maybe you're involved in maintenance. We thank you for that. Letter C. Are you a caregiver? Are you helping through crisis intervention? Comfort the dying. Wow, I thank you for lightening the load for others. That's a very special group. And there was a whole table of you. Where were the hospice volunteers again? Oh, awesome. All right. Or do you serve as a chaperone? Here we go. All right. Letter D, donation drives. I saw a lot of that in the upcoming roster. A lot of you involved in collection and organizing drives. Anything you'd like. Just one though, Jeff. Develop purpose and self-worth within clients are really important. Think about what you do. Are you helping develop purpose and self-worth? Disaster and emergency response. Letter E, environmental conservation. Are you rolling up your sleeves and helping in that way? How about entertainment? Do you sing? Do you tinkle on those piano keys? Event planning. I know there was a volunteer that helped with a lot of event planning for today. Look at them come now. Woo! Good stuff is going to go fast. F, letter F. Fundraising. Did you know that this is the #2 most popular volunteer activity? And that follows serving in your faith-based organization. Lots of ways that we fundraise. Family strengthening. Does your volunteer support families? Friendly visiting and companionship. Letter G. Guidance. Do you serve on a board or a committee? You have a leadership role. Gardening and landscaping. Falls in with beautification, I think. Or would you consider yourself more of a general laborer? Your gift of time is priceless. Thank you for sharing your time with us all. Letter H, hope. Do you provide hope? I saw a cute greeting card and I wrote it down, and I use it sometimes when I write thank you notes to volunteers. It says, if kind words were a canvas and your good deeds were colors, you'd have crafted a great work of art. All of you are artists in your own right. Healthy lifestyles, healthy communities. A lot of the activities that we do as volunteers promote health. How about hospitality? Letter I. Okay, this one was a hard one. I've got inclusion. Maybe this is inclusion of senior citizens. Maybe it's inclusion of people with disabilities into our community. Lots of ways we do inclusion. Hey, nobody's taking the chips. They're really cute. Come on. Yeah, thank you. Letter J, job skills training. Really important. How about jack of all trades? How many of you would say, I do just a little bit of anything at the nonprofit I work? Yep, that's you. Yep. Jack of all trades, you spend hours on projects and you demonstrate that it isn't all about time, it's about your heart. Your heartfelt commitment shows every time you volunteer. Thank you, Jack of all trades. Letter K, kindness. Do you spread kindness? All of you do that. Put a tick mark, every single one of you. Come on. Hands up. Who has not come up and got a prize yet? Funny, back of the room. Yeah, okay. L, literacy or learning. Life skills training. M, are you a mentor for someone? Does your volunteering involve music? Do you like to gather with others and put together mailings? Wow, thank you for that. Letter N, neighborhood watch. Do you have an active neighborhood watch in this community? Yes, good. Nourish the hungry. Lots of ways, pantries, suppers. Nurture young children. Again, a lot of you will be able to mark on that. How many's running out of room at the bottom of their program, huh? Yeah. Letter O, office support. Organizing donations. A willing volunteer is the greatest gift of all. Thank you, volunteers, for sharing that gift. Letter P, do you provide positive transitions for individuals? Do you work on preventing poverty? Important community needs. Letter Q. Wow. I was stumped. I even got my dictionary out. I've got a mega Hershey bar. If anybody can tell me how they volunteer that involves the letter Q.
Quality of life.
Quality of life. We know who our keynote speaker is next year. All right. R, reading, reducing hunger, role models, respite care for families. And a lot of us have been involved at some point through recreational activities and sports. Didn't bring anybody up? Wow, those are 5 biggies. S, do you strengthen homeschool connections? So you're probably working in a school. Support for families. Shelter for the abused, maybe the homeless. T, how about tax preparation? Woo! I tell ya, they should get paid for that one. Do you help with tutoring? I saw a lot of hands go up when we talked about the tutoring.
Go ahead.
U, I had to get creative here, unique perspectives and solutions. I know that many of you never shy away from difficult or undesirable tasks. Thank you for your dedication, because when the going gets tough, volunteers get going. All right, we're wrapping down. Let's go to V. How about validation? Do you make your client feel worthy by your interaction with them? Pat yourself on the back. That's really important. Are you involved in visitation? Are you a volunteer coordinator? Are you organizing other volunteers? Love you for that. How about video production? Tom? W. Does your volunteering involve wellness, health activities, and education? Or how about web design? Got a few more left up here, guys, gals. X. All right.
Who's doing Xeroxing? The only one I can think of. Awesome. Yard work for Y and last, Z. I bet there's a few zooming around town providing transportation. Or are you zeroing in to find solutions to our most pressing problems? So all of these are just a few selections here, but with the help of many hands and volunteer efforts, even the most difficult or the most mundane task can be accomplished. So maybe you picked up a lip balm, maybe you picked up, what went? There's chips, there's gum, there's Reese's, boy, there was something for everyone. All of that seems a little insignificant when we talk about the really important critical work that you are all doing, when we went through that list. But I'm okay with that. I'm okay that my token of appreciation maybe is nowhere in comparison to the value of the gifts you give, because I know that most volunteer to serve others, not for recognition. I want to thank you for allowing us to thank you today, to focus on you. I know it's not your comfort zone. Most of you would like to be under the radar, a little bit behind the scenes, and that's why you're in the serving role that you're in, oftentimes. So this week is for you. Happy National Volunteer Week. And if I can just take one more minute, I've got a poem I'd like to share with you, and then I'm going to turn the stage back over to Angie. It's called Dedicated Hearts. Dedicated hearts like yours are not so easy to find. It takes a special person to be so generous and kind. To care so much for your fellow man is a quality all too rare, yet you give of your time and talents for all in need to share. So thank you for being a volunteer. We're privileged to work with you. We want you to know how appreciated you are, not just today, but the whole year through. Let's give everyone a hand. All right, quick tally. Count up your little tick marks. The grand prize is one of everything that was on the table. All right, stand up if you have 5 or more ticks. 5 or more little marks. You have volunteered at least 5 of the ways that were on our screen today. All right? Stay standing if you have 8 or more marks. 10 or more marks. 15? How many we got left? We've got 2 people left. How many do you have?
I have 21.
21!
23.
23! Now you notice she's awfully young. We've got a lot of good work ahead of us, people. Thank you. Thank you so much, Shelley. What a great presentation. Let's give her another one. And now the moment we've all been waiting for. It's time to call up each of this year's nominees and thank them for their service. I'd like to invite the mayor up to hand out the pins and certificates to the nominees, and Jen Massafol from Ministry of Home Hospice, and she is also a member of the Volunteer Center Task Force. Where is Jen? There she is. She was hiding out in the hallway.
Well, I was going to go around with that.
Okay. I'd also like to thank my reading helpers, Shelley Kaiser, who's going to come back up and help me read some of the nominees, and also Susan Helt from the Lincoln High School Volunteer Center, and also a Volunteer Center Task Force member. I'd like to note that to save on space, the programs in the programs and time during our presentation. We have shortened each of the bios. However, if you'd like to read the bios in their entirety, they are posted on our website at uwiw.org. So let's start with the individuals. We will be calling up the individual nominees by agency. So if there are several volunteers from one agency, they can all come up at once. But let's please hold our applause until everyone from that agency has received their certificates and pins. So let's begin. Lori Hodkowitz from Adams Friendship High School. And she's not here today. Lori volunteers at the Learning Center. Her commitment is never ending. She makes students feel welcome and supports their various needs at the Learning Center. City of Wisconsin Rapids and Sue Wesley. In 2014, the City of Wisconsin Rapids launched the Mayor's Council on Beautification. One of the key projects was the flowering of Grand Avenue. This initiative, led by Sue Wesley, secured donations to place 38 baskets along West Grand Avenue and on First Street along Veterans Memorial Park. Thank you, Sue. Hilltop Ophelius and Chuck Punky. Chuck the Piano Man began playing piano for Hilltop several years ago. He visits both Hilltop of Pepper and Alpine Terrace assisted living facilities 2 days a month. Residents enjoy his music and the chance to sing along with the songs they remember. Thank you, Chuck. Howe Elementary School, Brian and Elizabeth St. Myers. And only Brian is here.
Yep, she's visiting her baby niece.
Oh.
Thanks, Brian.
Brian St. Myers volunteers a lot of his time at Howe School. He helped the Fuel Up to Play 60 group by running one of the physical activity areas. He helps at many family nights at school and even dressed in his firefighter uniform and read at one of the most recent events. Elizabeth heads up the parent-teacher community. She plans and coordinates events for Howe families, leads holiday shopping events for students, and book fairs throughout the year. Thank you, Brian and Elizabeth. Lincoln High School, Jeremiah Gray, Nicholas Kazuski, and Jesse Sheldon. Can you all three come up, please? Jeremiah Gray. Jeremiah is a member of the Lincoln High School tutoring program. He tutored a student who was having difficulty in many subjects. Jeremiah took his job seriously, helping his tutoring partners stay on task and become more successful in the classroom. Nicholas is a senior at Lincoln High School. He volunteered at the Boys and Girls Club, the Neighborhood Table, and Riverview Hospital. He also participated in Southwood County Teen Leadership, Wisconsin Rapids Beautification Committee, and the Mayor's Youth Council. Jesse Sheldon is a member of the Lincoln High School's tutoring program. When looking for a tutor in a difficult subject area, the program called on Jesse. He has been successful working with his tutoring partner to make the course material more understandable. Thank you to all of those. Mead Elementary Charter School and Rochelle Strady. Is Rochelle here today? Rochelle helps with the popcorn fundraiser, school photos, vision and hearing screenings, the school carnival, and takes notes for the parent-teacher committee. Ministry Home Care Hospice, Liz Barrett and Tanya Hemmingson. Liz Barrett is one of the Memory Bear sewers. Memory bears are keepsakes crafted from the personal clothing of a hospice patient. Liz is one of the most creative sewers and takes the more challenging orders. Tanya is an integral member of the Snowflake Ball Committee. The Snowflake Ball is Ministry Hospice's fundraising event that kicks off the holiday season. Last year, she put in countless hours creating floral arrangements and decorations. Thank you, Liz and Tanya. North Central Community Action Program and Paul DePere. Paul helps organize the homeless point in time counts in the Wisconsin Rapids area. Paul is the main contact for volunteers who go out twice a year in January and July to count people who are out on the streets overnight. Thank you, Paul. Opportunity Development Center, or ODC, Jerry Johnson, Julie Olds, and Tim Zander. Jerry's not here today. Jerry is an ODC Days Services volunteer. He encourages clients to explore money and math. He also helps them in their volunteer activities, including Meals on Wheels and Neighborhood Table. Julie Olds volunteers every Wednesday, rarely missing her shift. She spends time with individuals on the work floor, giving guidance and direction when needed to help them complete their assigned job. And Tim Zander. Tim is one of the Day Services volunteers. He helps in the World Cultures group, the men's group, and he helps facilitate German class, world culture celebrations, and eagle watching, as well as community outings and games. Thank you, Julie and Tim. And now I'd like to invite Sue Zernheld up to come up and finish reading the individual nominees.
Morning. As Andy said, I'm Sue Zernheld from Lincoln High School, and I've had the privilege of being the volunteer coordinator there for the last 11 years. And I just wanted to say that all of those 11 years I've been in this room, and when I leave,
Can't hear you.
Sorry. It's kind of cold for me, and I'll hold it as well. For the past 11 years, I've been the volunteer coordinator at Lincoln and have been here for this breakfast. And every year that I leave this room, I'm in awe and also inspired by the youth and the adults and what they're doing in the community to help address the needs we have here. So it's just really nice to be here again. So we're going to continue as Angie did. If there are more individuals within the group, if you just hold your applause till the end. We're going to call up Southwood County YMCA and Steve Pickett. Is Steve here? Steve began volunteering last June at the triathlon. Since then, he has also worked at the Turkey Trot and is currently working with a Y member who has Alzheimer's as an assistant and workout buddy. Steve also provides transportation so the member can continue going to the Y. From the Family Center, we have Dorothy Fryman, Yvonne Hansen, Jan Parrott, Nancy Quick, and Jean Sorensen. Large group. Dorothy Fryman has served the Family Center during a time of need, offering up her weekends to help others during their crisis and also through positive transitions. Yvonne Hansen plays a key role in the organization of the donation area. Her teamwork, attitude, and energy are vital to assisting those in need, plus her smile is contagious. Jan Parrott. Jan is an essential volunteer at the Family Center. As supervisor of the donation area, Jan shows great passion for serving those in need. For over 6 years, Jan has dedicated her time and energy to make the donation area the organized success it is today. Nancy Quick has contributed greatly to the success of the Family Center. Her willingness to help those in need and give of her time and energy is appreciated. And lastly, Jean Sorensen is truly one of a kind. She jumped in to assist the Family Center's donation area a couple of years ago and has dedicated ever since. Next we have the Neighborhood Table, or better known as TNT, and Jim Steen. No, Jim is here. Oh, there he is. Okay, so Jim is a quiet but integral spoke in TNT's wheel. He shows up at every meal, sets up the bakery goods, and greets guests upon arrival. Guests know him by name and look forward to seeing him each week. Think Academy, we have Amy and Buck Fuller. Looks like Amy's here. Amy is involved in every aspect of Think Academy. She helps students with math and reading, serves as board president, organized the painting of the school last summer and painted the library herself, organized fundraisers and the early release program, and is volunteer coordinator and fills in as a sub as needed. Buck updated the teacher's lounge by putting in cupboards and countertops at no cost. He designed and built a set of wall cabinets to store the guided reading material and orchestrated the completion of the outdoor classroom. He has also attended field trips when a male chaperone was needed. Thank you, Amy and Buck. United Way of Wisconsin and Jody Porter. She's not here. Jody came to the United Way through the University of Phoenix. Jody is studying human services and will graduate this summer. However, first she needs to volunteer 175 hours. Jody assists with mailings, inventory, the volunteer center, and participated in the January PIT homeless count. Next we have Wisconsin Rapids Area Habitat for Humanity and Larry Turba. Larry has been a Habitat for Humanity volunteer since its first day. He does all the credit and background checks and makes recommendations to the Family Selection Committee. He also serves as a board member. Thank you, Larry. Wisconsin Rapids Community Theater and Joanne Joseph. Joanne is involved through the Silver Foxes and also works in the office selling tickets, answering the phone, and anything else that needs to be done, including Xeroxing. Remember, right? Wood County Land Conservation Department, and that is Rob Borski and Brian Ham. Rob and Brian collect stream flow data using a piece of equipment called a flow meter. This data collected from Wood County streams is important in ensuring water quality and quantity for future generations. Thank you. And I'd like to invite Shelley back up. She's going to be introducing the group volunteer nominees.
All right, let's hear about some of these group nominees. As I read the bio for each group, I will invite all volunteers from that group to come forward to receive a certificate and pin for each individual who's present here today. Let's start with Adams Friendship High School Youth Day of Caring. Last year, Adams Friendship High School participated in its very first Youth Day of Caring. 70 students and 7 staff members worked at 3 different home sites: the VFW, the Humane Society, Burt Morris Park, the school grounds and its neighbors, and Castle Rock County Park. These students worked extremely hard, and Adams Friendship was very proud of them. Central Wisconsin Literacy Council tutors, come forward. Joy Bird, Kathy Shea, Terry Rydell, Trey Turner, and Dick Bartosh are tutors for Central Wisconsin Literacy Council. They are flexible, patient, and work hard to accommodate varying degrees of adult-student responsibility. These individuals have been very busy helping people in the community enhance their English skills to complete education, obtain employment, and support themselves. John Edwards High School Ecology Club. Anyone here? Yeah, good. On October 17th, 2014, the John Edwards High School Ecology Club hosted the Local Food Rendezvous, which featured locally sourced food. Club advisors Christy Hawk and Jeannie Brunner envisioned this rendezvous, wrote grants to secure funding, and incorporated it into the 2014 Earth Day celebration. On Earth Day, each student in the school district painted bowls that would be kiln fired and used for the rendezvous. All these pieces came together for a great evening of food and fun. Learning for Life Reading Mentors from Humke Elementary School. The Humke Reading Mentors consists of a dedicated group of community members that devote time each week on a scheduled, regular basis to read along with and get read to by Humke students. The students eagerly await the arrival of these special individuals each week. Learning for Life Reading Mentors, Mead Elementary Charter School. Mead Elementary Charter School is fortunate to have 33 Learning for Life Reading Mentors this year. These community members come into the school once a week and work on literacy skills with the students. These mentors have developed strong relationships with the students and teachers, and many volunteers outside of their, and many also volunteer outside their designated reading time at other school functions. Let's hear it for Mead Elementary Charter Learning for Life.
Thank you.
Let's recognize the Lincoln High School Key Club. This group has participated in many volunteer activities. They have volunteered in elementary schools in various efforts, in activities for Children's Miracle Network, implemented a fun recreational opportunity for children in a Santa's workshop at Washington Elementary. They collected for the Cell Phones for Soldiers campaign and assisted at the Elks Club. Let's hear it for Lincoln High School Key Club. Ross and Linda Lou Miller. Here we go. This couple has been maintaining the United Way of Inner Wisconsin landscaping since 2012. Several years ago, the Master Gardeners took on United Way as a project and helped transform the landscape from unmanageable to beautiful. When the Master Gardeners' work was done, they passed the torch, or should we say rakes, to the Millers, who were very eager to help out. From spring to fall, the Millers stopped by periodically to weed, maintain, and prepare the landscaping for the seasons. Thank you. Ministry Hospice Plant Sale Committee. Here we go. Last year, Ministry Hospice held its first annual Mother's Day plant sale to help raise funds that directly assist its patients and families. The sale was successful with the help of Kathy Matonic, Sally Miller, Barb Tork, Bonnie Weber, and Sarah Worth. These ladies worked hard to ensure the event was successful, from finding a location, picking out flowers, promoting the event, and then of course working at the event. Thank you, Ministry Hospice Plant Sale Committee. Art and Marcy Nepgezik. I think I did that right.
Yep.
Here today? No, okay. Art and his wife Marcy volunteered for RCCA Media for years. Art's knowledge in video production is a real asset. Art and Marcy team up. They film events all year long, including concerts, graduations, sporting events. Art also goes the extra mile by editing his work and bringing in a totally finished product, ready to be aired. Okay, last group volunteer recognition goes to the Wood County Master Gardeners. Working with the UW Extension, the Wood County Master Gardeners' mission is to educate and share horticultural information with the public. The Garden Walk, held in July, has been an annual event for the past 15 years. The Master Gardeners have also been involved with the startup and guidance of community gardens in Marshfield, Rome, and Wisconsin Rapids. In 2014, over 6,000 volunteer hours were contributed to the greater Wood County area by this group. Master Gardeners, let's see your green thumbs. Thank you. And can we give a final round of applause to all of our 215 volunteer nominees today? You're awesome.
I guess I didn't realize how short I am until everyone took the mic out. All right, before we wind down to the end of our program, I have a few quick housekeeping notes to share with you. Please fill out your email cards if you're interested in anything that you heard about today or would like more information. We will also be using these cards for the drawing for prizes, so be sure to get those filled out. But that won't happen for a couple more minutes, so you still have time to fill out your cards. Also, we want to know what you think about our program today. At each table, there are evaluation forms. Please fill one out and tell us what you liked and what we could improve for next year. We also have a few thank yous to shout out. We'd like to thank the Daily Tribune Media and Gannett Foundation. They are our sponsors for today's event. I know Deb is here. How about Jamie? Is Jamie here too? Okay. Jamie's going to say a few words if you want to come on up. And I wanted to also mention that Daily Tribune Media is very generous in their sponsorship of our volunteer breakfast. We greatly appreciate your support.
I'm sure it takes
Good morning. My name is Jamie Rokas, and I'm the Community Engagement Editor for the Daily Tribune. On behalf of the Daily Tribune, I want to offer a sincere thank you to all of the volunteers who we have honored here this morning, as well as everyone who volunteers their time and talents to assist others in the community. When I sat down last week to read the bios of each of the volunteers who were recognized here this morning, I was overwhelmed. We live in such an amazing community, a community where people will go out of their way to create a special memory for a family who has lost a loved one. A community where people will give up their personal time to help a family in crisis. A community where people will go above and beyond to help students succeed in the classroom and in life. And the list goes on and on. I am so proud to live in this community. I am also honored to be part of an organization that helps to recognize those who share their time and talents in the community. Thank you to the United Way of Inner Wisconsin's Volunteer Center for coordinating this event and for allowing Daily Tribune Media to be part of it.
Let's thank Daily Tribune Media one more time, because without them, this wouldn't be possible. We'd also like to thank the United Way of Inner Wisconsin Board of Directors. Do we have any board members present today? I know we have one. Terry Whitmore. Again, we appreciate the support of our board of directors in the Volunteer Center's efforts. I'd also like to thank the Volunteer Center Task Force, and I think I have them all working right now, Sue and Jen. We do have a few other members who aren't here today. But these folks really help with the planning and execution of the Volunteer Center events, such as the Volunteer Breakfast and Day of Caring. Help me thank our task force members. And I'd like to also thank RCCA Media. You probably noticed the video cameras and the photographer. And I want to let you know this is the RCCA Media team. They're helping us to promote volunteerism in our communities. They're also videotaping today's program in its entirety. So if you know someone who missed our event, they can still watch it on RCCA Media, on Solaris Channel 3 or Charter Channel 985. It can also be viewed on demand at rccamedia.org. You can watch for, I believe afterwards, the RCCA Media people will be doing some little interviews, asking you, why are you here? Why do you volunteer? And those little interview segments can be viewed on both of our social media sites. And finally, we'd also like to thank Hotel Mead for being our host today. So let's thank RCCA Media and Hotel Mead. And now we have some prizes to give away. So we've got 3 goodie bags, and Jen, are you going to hand them out to everybody? And did everyone get their purple cards in for the drawing that wanted to? Is there anybody who didn't get their cards in? Okay. Why don't we go ahead and do the drawing? And Sue's got them all fanned out. And then I'll invite the mayor up as well to draw it. So.
They're gonna fill one out.
Logan Alft. Come on up and get a goodie bag. And the next winner. Tia Ruiz? That must be the lucky table back there. And our last one. Jerica? That is the lucky table back there. Not to worry, we still have more prizes to give away. Our next giveaway is the lovely centerpieces that are on each table. I know Jody Porter couldn't be here today. She's the volunteer that we nominated. And she did a lot of the work for this volunteer breakfast. She created the PowerPoints, she created a lot of the materials, and she also created these centerpieces. So, and these are the things that we're going to also send home with one lucky person at each table. So, but to determine who gets to take it home, we're gonna play a little game. First, let's figure out who gets to start out with the centerpiece. Whoever's birth date is closest to April 14th can begin. So if your birthday is closest to April, yes? Say what? Oh yeah, that'll work, yeah. So, but that, you don't get to keep it. You just get to start out with it. Okay? So does everyone have a basket at every table? Now I'm going to read a little story. And when I say right, pass it to the right. And when I say left, pass it to the left. Are you guys ready? All right. Okay. Oh no, I thought. I looked right at the calendar and realized that there was only a few months left before National Volunteer Week, which meant the volunteer breakfast was right around the corner. There are so many things to do, and since I like everything to be done just right, I was left with no choice to begin cracking. I knew I could not delay. I had to get right to it. I had to come up with a theme, so right away, I grabbed some of my party planning magazines and started searching. What theme was left after so many years? I needed the right inspiration and needed it fast, and then it came to me. It struck me right between the eyes. I called a good friend, Nancy Rightwich, and ran my idea past her. She said, "You are right on the money. You have chosen a great theme." Once I had a theme, I started to write a list that was right, the wrong kind of right. I had to write a list of everything else that needed to be done. Decorations, program, entertainment, gifts, and speech, to name a few. Even this left-right game. right? I mean, I didn't want to be a nervous wreck for the next couple of months, worrying about something important would be left out or left to chance. Right away, I went to my file cabinet to check out if there was anything left from last year that I could be used, and right away, I realized there was not much left. It was time to search for the right item to make this breakfast perfect. No stone would be left unturned in my quest to make it perfect for my special volunteers. When it was time to select the right invitations and make sure they were sent to the right people, that is, the right volunteers, and the right paid staff members were invited, and that no one was left out, I went right to the computer and ran a list. Then I was almost finished addressing the invitations and realized I had left out Marge Cartwright of the list. How could I have forgotten her? I rightfully addressed the envelope right that minute. A month or so later, I finally finished with all the planning and was left with a great feeling of accomplishment. Nancy Wright-Witch called the night right before the volunteer breakfast, wanting to know if I was ready. I told her there was nothing left to do. Everything had been done right on time. And I told her, if I'm really good at planning, as I think I am, there will be nothing left over at the end of the breakfast, although I'm hoping there will be some leftovers so I can take them back to work for lunch. So now I'm left with nothing to do but to get your feedback. It was a great breakfast that has left a lasting impression on you, and there was nothing left out, right? What a fun game. We hope you enjoy your centerpieces. And if you didn't get a goodie bag or a centerpiece, not to worry, we still have something for everyone. We have left a little gift at each of your place settings as a token of our appreciation. We hope you enjoy these magnets. These ones. Take these home and display them with pride. In case you're wondering, the magnets do punch out, and the frame can be used to hang your favorite photos on your fridge. That is today's program. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you for volunteering, and have a happy National Volunteer Week.